welcome to another edition of the Kyle Report, coming to you live from the beautiful downtown arena, formerly Banbury Place. And of course, I'm your host, Chuck Lee. And with me down on the street, in the street segment, is Fred, the true staffer. Can you hear me, Fred?
I can hear you all right.
Well, glad to see that you can hear me. Can you turn around so we can see your face?
I don't want you to see my face.
Okay, well, Fred's down there, and of course, now we're going to be taking interviews. If anyone wants to drive up, Fred will be interviewing anybody that just drives right up there. If you have any questions or
I am not interviewing anybody.
Anything of interest. And of course, I heard rumors that the common man should be down there in the arena parking lot in about 5-6 minutes from now. And of course, we're waiting for Mr. NASA, Norbert. What's Norbert's last name, Fred?
He doesn't have a last name.
All right, it's just Norbert from NASA.
Yeah.
And of course, Norbert will be with us. And of course,
it's getting cold out here.
Who is? Okay, now, Fred, we got a lot to talk about tonight. And as you know, there was some news over the weekend here in Eau Claire about a baby being found down there at the YMCA, and of course, that's really raised a furor around town. And as a matter of fact, even the Associated Press picked it up. I caught it on the internet tonight, so now it's gone worldwide. And what are you hearing down on the street about that there, Fred?
Nothing.
Not anything at all?
No.
Okay, all right. Well, the headline in the Tampa Bay newspaper down in Tampa, Florida says 13-year-old charged with murder in baby's death. 13-year-old girl was accused Monday of killing her newborn son in a YMCA bathroom by squeezing his head and stuffing toilet paper in his mouth. And it goes on to tell about Wisconsin juveniles 10 and older who are charged with serious crimes are automatically tried as adults unless a judge decides otherwise. So a 10-year-old child in this state, Fred, can be tried as an adult. What do you think about that?
That's too bad.
It sure wasn't that way when you were a youngster.
No way.
I mean, when you were 10 years old...
We didn't have them teaching all about sex in high school either, or in grade school, so this is where this comes from.
Well, Fred, when you were 10 years old, were you thinking about things like are happening nowadays with today's youth?
No.
Well, I wasn't either. I was more worried about going down to the grocery store and spending a couple pennies on some bubble gum or something. I wasn't worried about taking a gun to school or getting my girlfriend pregnant or going out and killing my parents, I'll tell you that.
Right on.
What were you doing when you were 10 years old?
The same thing.
All right. Well, what do you think about a 13-year-old being tried as an adult, Fred?
Well, I think she's a little too young to realize what the hell she did.
Well, I kind of feel the same way, and maybe some of the pro-life people might get mad at us, but I kind of feel the same way. A 13-year-old girl in a panic situation, her parents probably didn't know she was pregnant, and she probably decided that was the easiest way to get rid of a bad situation without letting her parents know, and maybe some of her culture came into play there, but it's a bad situation, Fred, for everyone involved.
Yes.
But do you think that the district attorney down there at the courthouse went a little too far there on that?
I don't know.
First-degree murder?
I don't know. I don't quite agree with him.
I don't either. I know you're a staunch pro-life Catholic. What would be the Catholic response to this whole situation?
Well, I think they would be willing to have us tried as a child.
Yeah.
And not as an adult.
Well, it sounds like the situation with the girl had blood all over her, and she was probably having a bad time there delivering the baby, and probably just panicked. And in that kind of situation, I imagine if she's got any decent kind of an attorney, he's going to plead temporary insanity. Wouldn't you say so, Fred?
I don't know.
Well, you were in paralegal work out there in New York for many years. How would you play that if you were in court?
Well, I might play that. I might say that too.
All right. Well,
I know, and I'm not interested in facing the damn camera.
All right, now, if anyone wants to call in tonight and ask Fred or I questions, it's 839-6261 is our live phone number. And we are coming to you live, and hopefully Common will be down there for his segment there. Our man on the street with Randy, the Common Man, the minister, and he is supposed to be coming down there to help Fred there in a minute. And of course, Norbert will be down there pretty soon, won't he, Fred?
I don't know.
You see him coming up yet?
No.
All right, well, let's see now. What is your first, what's your first piece of news item there in the newspaper?
I know.
Well, what do you got there from the Wanderer?
Well, I see that Dornan won the primary out in California.
He did?
He did.
Well, I forgot all about that. That's good.
And yes, he beat out the other three candidates. He got more votes than they did. All three of them told.
Well, you know, a couple nights before the election, he gave a candid interview with a reporter, and he was talking about retirement if he lost the primary. He was almost ready to throw in the towel.
Yeah.
It sounds like they overwhelmingly won him back.
They did.
Well, you know, that was a crooked election out there to begin with. I don't care.
They shouldn't have set that guy.
That was back in '96. That was one of the most crooked elections in the country. There was another couple down there. At least one more down in New Orleans. It was pretty shady in the U.S. Senate race, and we had illegal aliens and people from the graveyard and people in empty lots voting out there in California in that Dornan race.
Yes.
And of course that there was
a number of them that voted weren't even citizens.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, maybe we'll get Bob back in there. We need B1 Bob back there in the House, keeping all them other liberals in line.
Yes.
There's too many doggone liberals out there, Fred. We need somebody that will whip them into line and keep Newt on the right track, too.
Yeah, I know
You can't
it. See, we have let's see what his name is. Theodore. Yeah, I didn't bring my glasses tonight. I can hardly read. Oh, Thomas Groleski is gonna run against D'Amato in New York.
Who is?
Thomas Groleski.
Well, what's so good about him?
Well, he's 100% pro-life. He's a good man as far as the Constitution is concerned, and D'Amato has voted for giving stuff to the pro-organ, the pro, not life, but the anti-life group. And he's voted for 4 things there that they don't support.
Huh. Well, here, Fred, I just got a tidbit of news here before you get into your article. Did you know in Kentucky, 50% of the people who get married for the first time are teenagers?
Yeah?
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
And another little tidbit of facts there was Einstein couldn't speak fluently when he was 9, and his parents thought he might be retarded. And in Los Angeles, there's fewer people than there are automobiles. And that's almost like Wisconsin, where there's fewer people than there are cows in a lot of places.
Yes.
And of course, that's why we named this show The Cow Report. For all of those cows out there that can't be here tonight, we salute you.
I thought it was Christians of Wisconsin was the reason that we called it the Cow Report.
Well, that's a good one too, Fred. And it has many meanings here, being in the dairy state and a solid Christian conservative state, and could stand for conservatives of Wisconsin too.
Yeah.
Okay, Fred. Well, what's your first article there then?
Well, I'm not going to be able to read without my glasses very much. Unfortunately, I didn't bring them with me. I see Patrick Buchanan has an article on free trade versus national security, and tells what's happening to the business here in our country who are not able Well, so many have gone down to Mexico and even other places south of the border.
Well, what are they doing down there?
Well, they're making what they used to make here.
Oh,
And we lost the jobs. There's over 600,000 jobs have gone down to Mexico, and maybe another 100,000 to other states below them.
well, I noticed they're making Volkswagens down there, the new Volkswagen Beetle down there, as fast as they can get them off the assembly line.
And then they send them up here.
And I think they're getting about 15,000 for each one of them. Of course, if you can make it down to Mexico, you can buy one down there, stripped down model for about $8 grand. And drive it back up here and almost double your money. If you drove it all the way to Canada, you'd probably get 16,000 out of it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what people are going to have to do. They're going to have to take a one-way Greyhound bus down there to the factory and buy a Volkswagen, drive it up here and sell it. That would be a pretty good job, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing how well you can hear me, Fred, being down there in the arena parking lot.
Yeah, and I don't know why you got me down here instead of up there with you.
Well, Common Man is supposed to be down
Well,
there.
he isn't here.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If he doesn't show up, he's banned from my show for life.
Well, that'd be all right.
And I'll never...
I'm gonna be banned for life too from it. I won't be coming anymore to this show.
Well, I'm never going to talk to Common again.
Right. Okay. I'm not coming. I won't be here your next nightly meeting because I'm not going to stand down here and talk to myself.
Well, Norbert and Common are supposed to be down there. They should be coming in any minute.
They're not here.
Now, Fred, tell us a little bit about the meeting you went to Saturday night.
Well, I went to a dinner of the Catholic War Veterans. Dave Zine spoke for about a half hour. You have an enthusiastic report about what's going on in Madison and elsewhere with him. He really did a good job there.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that he was, I was there too, Fred. He did give a pretty good speech. Now, I noticed, though, the ranks of the Catholic War veterans are thinning out a little bit.
I know it.
You want to give a pitch there for people to join?
Well, they ought to. You know, we have done things that the other veterans organizations haven't gotten up or done at all. Here's, you got your lights on.
Who's that now?
Common Man.
All right. Well, while Common is getting set up there, and he'll be helping you interview the people that are coming to the arena tonight, Fred, I'm going to talk a little bit about cigarettes.
Hello there. Hi. How are you tonight?
Well, tell them to get around here in the light where we can see them.
Yes.
Tell them to come around the other side, Fred.
Come around the other side here. That's in the light.
All right, so there's the Common Man. Now, Fred, you're going to have to help me interview him down there because you're...
Yeah.
Now, Common, where in the heck you been? You're supposed to be here at 9 o'clock.
Supposed to be here at 9 o'clock, he says.
I know.
Well, what do you got to say for yourself?
You get hung up in traffic.
Yeah. He says he did the best as he could. He got hung up in traffic.
All right, well, now if anyone wants to drive up there to interview, to talk with the Common Man or Fred, you're willing to drive right into the arena parking lot, formerly the Banbury Place parking lot. And as you know now, we've saved $57 million by opening up the arena right here at Banbury Place. And of course, we changed it to the Eau Claire Arena.
Take it off.
Now, Fred, you're going to be hooking that up with Common there, and then you're coming up here to the studio, right?
Okay.
You hear me, Common?
Yeah, I'm trying to get myself hooked up here.
Okay, don't turn any buttons off there because everything's just wired perfect there. Now, you see Norbert down there anywhere?
He's not here at all.
He's got to come. He's got to tell us about the situation on Mars there. Well, in the meantime here, while they're getting wired up here, I got this magazine in the mail about from Marlboro. And it's amazing what these guys are trying to do to get people hooked. This real color glossy magazine comes out, and it's almost like Life magazine there. It's really something there. And that comes to me free of charge. I don't know why. I guess they know that we talk about them on TV, and so they want us to get the facts straight. But this is pretty much sports orientated and youth orientated, and it's to get the youth. It's got a nice big ad on the back here for Marlboros, and it says up in the left-hand corner, quitting smoking now greatly reduces serious risk to your health.
Well, the best thing to do in the first place is never start like I did.
And so that's a real high glossy color magazine there that comes out free, and that's just one way of getting the youth hooked into smoking. Matter of fact, that comes to my son who's in his early 20s, and he also gets some other mail sent to the house here. Party at the Marlboro Ranch. This is another piece of mail that came. 250 winners, 250 friends. River rafting, cookouts, fly fishing, bonfires, mountain biking, and bands. And you can, it's a contest, you can enter to be to 5 days, 4 nights on the Marlboro Ranch. And of course, when you're laying in the hospital bed dying of lung cancer, you can always look back on the memories you had at the Marlboro Ranch. So just remember that if you win.
Well, there's nothing wrong with entering a contest, but I wouldn't want to enter one like that.
What the heck's all that noise back? You got a car driving by
Yeah,
now?
the car drove by, it just kept on going.
All right, well, they'll
Probably
probably...
wondered what the heck we were doing out here.
Okay, now, Roy, we're willing to take phone calls there, 839-6261, and if they want to talk to Fred or Common or me. Now, Fred, you want to come up
That's
to
about as close as I can get it.
You want to come up to the studio there, Fred? Common, tell Fred to come on up here now.
You want it up, President?
Yeah.
I don't know what those guys are doing down there.
They said if you want, you can come upstairs.
Yeah.
Tell him he got his
Okay,
mic.
I'm coming.
All right. You know, Freddie's been a little bit grumpy the last few days, and
Yeah.
we tried to
Grumbling
keep
about the mosquitoes out here. I don't blame them.
we tried to keep
Suckers are
him
flying around, and I suppose this light probably attracts them even more too.
we tried to keep him cool by having him downstairs instead under these hot lights, but evidently he wants to come up here. So in the meantime, while he's getting up there now. Okay, Common, I hear you're working on a new racetrack in town.
Well, I'd like to have one in town, but right now that seems to be almost an impossibility.
Why is that?
Well, it seems like everybody says not in my backyard. I wanted to put it in Union Township, but I think they might have put an end to that. But all that's left, I think, is Ludington.
Well, I thought
that's about all, I think.
I thought you said the other day that there's somebody's working on a new.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the one. You're talking about the one out in Jim Falls.
Yeah, some kind of new racetrack.
Yeah, that don't start until sometime in July, and they're going to run on Wednesdays.
Huh.
I still don't know who the owner is yet, and I even tried to look it up. See, you won't be able to. They won't have their phone number or address or nothing until the next next phone book comes out in September. Because I even looked it up. It had a lot of Jim Falls stuff in there, but no racetrack numbers.
Well, you know, Common there. Do you know, since we're here on the parking lot of the old Gillette Tire Factory, and then after that it was Uniroyal. Remember the old ads, Uni, Roy, and Al?
Yeah.
The old race car ads, and it was Uni, a woman, and Roy and Al were the two men, and they were pushing the Uniroyal tires. But did you know that some of that rubber from those tires is used to make bubble gum?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Bubble gum.
I haven't chewed that stuff in years anyway.
Bubble gum actually contains rubber, so keep that in mind next time you're in the market to chew some bubble gum.
Yeah, that's not likely.
All right. So in the meantime, here we got an article here that this 16-year-old girl in Falkirk, Scotland, has been ordered to undergo an anger management course after assaulting a man and destroying property because she was fed up with a name that didn't suit her. Her name was Happy Stewart. Told the court she wants to be called Elizabeth. Her middle name, birthday, will also need to be changed. So her name used to be Happy Birthday Stewart. All right, Common, now we're, anytime you're ready there to interview those people down there, just let me know.
Well, if anybody ever shows up, nobody showed up yet. I could find myself sitting down here for an hour waiting around for somebody. You never know. Right now, there's nobody at all since Fred left.
Well, it's like anything else. You got to get warmed up. Okay, well, Freddie should be making his way to the Kyle Report studios. And as you know, Fred gives tours down here from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and it takes about...
I don't know. I've heard some to the contrary. That's not the case.
It takes about 20-25 minutes for him to give the complete tour of the Kyle Report studios, and there's a lot to see. And of course, he talks about each one of the little animals here, and the pink poodle, and of course we have also the Flavin' Pop, and whoops, we're covering up here.
Whatever that is.
And there we got the Common Man's head here, and I don't know how you're in two places at one, Common, because we've got your head right here.
No, that's not my real head. That's a prop from Chester Schiller's. The Chester crowd.
All right, there now. Okay, and there's the, of course, there's your Flavin' Pop, and of course, have you ever sang the Flavin' Pop tune, Common?
You wouldn't want to hear me sing anyway.
And now, without further ado, Fred, the Truth Stafford. Have a seat right here, Fred. We already got everything. We're glad that you stayed down there and got everything ready so that Common could get his entrance.
Norbert hasn't shown up.
Well, here, get you all wired up there, and there you go. Have your seat.
To the flag.
Have your seat there, Fred. Well, we got a couple flags tonight, Fred. We're flagged all over the place.
Yeah.
All right, there. So
Okay.
well, hopefully his mic's working there. And,
Yes.
Okay, Fred. Well, what's your first article tonight?
I see that Joseph Sobran in the Washington Watch has written an article, and he has literally called for the impeachment, or he said that the president has committed treason.
He did.
Yeah.
Huh? When did he do that?
Here in this article.
Well, how did he commit
Giving
treason?
the stuff to China so they can aim their missiles at us and blow us up if they got us. If they got us in there, right there. So I don't know. And he's also done other things. So that surely is treason.
Huh? Well, that's quite a charge there.
I know. He's not the only one that's made it, though. Marlon Mattis has also said on Point of View 105 to 230, weekdays on WWIB 103.7. And everybody should be listening to that station, want to know what's going on in our country.
Well, that is a pretty good program there, and of course, for several years it was hard to find around this area. It was only on 2 or 3 days a week. I don't know, is it back on 5 days a week?
5 days a week.
Well, that's good. Well, you know, Fred, speaking of that presidency in the year 2000, I heard Common might be throwing his hat in the ring. Is there any truth to that, Common?
Not hardly.
For president?
No.
Well, you got 2 years a little over 2 years to get elected.
I'm getting a beeping sound on the phone. What's the deal?
Well, I can hear you just fine up here.
That's plenty of mosquitoes are
How's the mosquito population down there? Can you hear me? Hello? I guess we've lost contact with Common down in the arena parking lot. We've lost contact. Earth to Common.
What'd you say?
Earth to Common.
What was the problem?
All right, Fred. Well, you know James Dobson is thinking about running for president.
Well, he'd be a good one to run. I asked about Ashcroft. Senator Ashcroft would be a good one too, but he doesn't seem to have much support.
Huh.
Okay.
All right, now as we said earlier, I don't know if our phones are wired up tonight or not, but we are accepting calls at 839-6261 if you want to ask Fred the Truth Stafford anything, or if you want to ask or bring up any subject, or the district attorney filing murder charges today against a 13-year-old girl here in town, or
13-year-old girl, yeah.
yeah, 13 years old, or anything of that nature. We're here to answer all of your questions, because after all, this is the only program in the Midwest, Fred, that will answer all of your questions. And go ahead, caller, you're on the air.
Hi. I thought maybe we could talk about the roads in Eau Claire.
All right, do we have roads in Eau Claire now?
Well, that's a good question. You know, I deliver pizzas,
Yeah.
and I drive my own car, so my car takes quite a beating. I actually just put new struts on them a couple days ago, and this isn't the first time I've had to do it with my car.
Well, I've been taking some bad back roads because of detours around on the southwest side, over by off of Water Street and over by Half Moon Lake in that area. There's been some work on some of the roads there, and I'll tell you, some of the roads that I've been driving on, they look like third world country, back dirt roads.
Oh yeah, I see that they've got First Avenue blocked off, but I'm also curious about the stretch of Menominee Street from 9th Avenue going towards Claremont. I know that they started to pave it towards 9th Avenue, and then they stopped. It seems as if they stopped right about the time they get into College Housing.
Well, you know, you're talking about that curve right there by the Hobbs Arena.
Yep.
They paved that because one day there was a city worker down there, and the potholes were so deep that he saw two Chinamen running by with John F. Kennedy's casket, and so the city figured it was time to fill those potholes.
Ah, I see.
And so they fixed just the curve there, but as far as the rest of the way out to Menominee Street, that's been a statewide disaster zone for the last 10, 15 years. They've just lingered on fixing that because they're going to be right where that old schoolhouse is, across from the bus barns there. They're going to angle the road off over to Water Street, so you'll be able to go from Menominee and kind of angle off to the left a little bit, and then hook up with Water Street, and then go right down Water Street. So,
rather than go with the curves that they
yeah,
have.
you won't drive up to the corner there and take a left at the bike shop anymore. They're gonna.
What about First Avenue? I know that all of the houses on the stretch from Water to Lake, well, not all, but most of the houses a lot of the houses have been condemned and torn down, especially in between Chippewa and Niagara, I think, is where all the houses were torn down.
Yeah, I think they're scheduled to bulldoze those down next week.
Yeah.
So if there's anyone living in there, hopefully you'll get your stuff moved out, because I think Monday morning they're supposed to start bulldozing that whole area. About 6 blocks there, they're just going to go in there Monday morning, and they're going to burn everyone out that's living in there, and if you don't move there, I heard rumors that they might arrest you, so you better get your belongings and get out of there, because they're going to bulldoze that down before the next flood.
Yeah. You know, I also, speaking of that area, I've also heard that John Mogensen has a plan to try to buy out all of the houses on that stretch of Water, all of the buildings on that stretch of Water Street, and run a monopoly.
Huh. You mean like the game Monopoly, or?
I guess I wouldn't say like the game Monopoly. I would say more like a monopoly where he would have.
Well, since you're talking about streets, we got our man on the street segment with Randy, the common man, be minister down there. We'll ask him what's your take on those roads down there on First Avenue, Common?
I'm still trying to figure out why the heck they don't just run it further into the park instead of knocking them houses down. Because I mean, you got enough park space there anyway. That's kind of ridiculous to knock those houses down if they're going to widen the street and everything. It doesn't make any sense. I would figure widen the street on the side where the park is. As far as Menominee Street, I know what that's like too. And that is ready to be tore up. Matter of fact, for a second there, I thought they was going to. For a second, when they thought about rerouting that darn thing, I thought they was going to reroute it right through a house I used to live in many years ago, 930 Menominee Street.
Mm-hmm. What about, I was to jump to another street here. How about Birch Street? I know that it must have been about 3 years ago that they paved that street, and I used to live on Birch Street last year, and. I noticed. Is it true that we're getting ready to repave Birch Street again?
Yeah, I guess so.
I pity the fool that lives on Birch Street.
We lived there for 1 year, never again moved out right away.
I pity the fool because about every 5 years you get hit with special assessments up there, and they claim that those are 10 or 15 or 20-year streets, and then 5 years later the potholes are deeper than ever. It's because they don't fix it right to begin with. They're not using the right kind of materials for this for the harsh winters up here. They're not digging down far enough and actually doing a proper job. What they're doing is they're just going in there and doing a patchwork thing that lasts about 5 years. The Leader Telegram, last time they paved that, they just gave them glowing reports about how they came in they finished it early and how beautiful it was and what a great job the company did that was doing it. I'd like to see them do an article on it now here 3 or 5 years later, and let's hear what they say about it, because it looked beautiful for about a year and then it started falling apart again.
Well, I agree with you as far as the paving of the street. They don't go down far enough, but I also think that part of the problem is because they're not making the road thick enough, because they're not going down far enough and using the right materials. That's part of the problem. But the other problem seems to be that we're routing semi-trucks down Birch Street, down a thinly paved road, and okay, they're supposed to go 30 miles an hour, but having lived on that street and feeling I've never been in an earthquake before, but I have a good idea about what it feels like from living on Birch Street when you have those semis come barreling by, and I doubt they're going 30 miles an hour. And I think that, so I guess what I'm suggesting is that perhaps we shouldn't route our business, our semi-trucks, to go down a residential street such as Birch Street.
All right, now you say you deliver pizzas. Are you on duty tonight?
Nope.
I was going to say you might want to deliver something down there for Common. He looks like he's hungry.
I don't eat pizza.
Anchovies and
I don't touch the stuff. Too strong for my innards.
Anchovies and pineapple? Okay, well, thanks a lot, caller.
Question, where is Common anyway? We've been trying to figure that out.
He's down in the arena parking lot. Down at the former Banbury Place parking lot, and now it's the arena parking lot.
That's good.
Right across the street from you.
Oops, looks like there's somebody that's
be a curiosity
down there to interview Common. Somebody's found him, so thanks a lot for calling in.
All right, bye.
Yeah.
Okay, Common, who you got down there?
I'm not sure. I get a bunch of guys just come out of a truck here. I guess they're curious. I guess they're trying to figure out what's going on down here.
Well, that's our man on the street with Randy, the common man, the minister. And
okay, they've seen my show too, so.
So, why don't you ask him what's going on down there?
Well, I was going to say, I suppose, what is going down? What is going on?
Well, you got to stick the microphone in his mouth, in his face there.
Nope, they don't. Now I guess they don't. I guess they don't want to talk.
All right. Well, there you have it. 3 people that have shown up for the this Monday night's boxing match. We have George Chavallo versus.
This isn't mine. This is Chuck Lee's Cow Report.
George Chavallo versus Tiny Mills. It's going to be quite a match tonight, and of course, people are starting to fill up the arena parking lot, and we have seats for 5,673 people. And remember, we saved the city $56 million by turning the Banbury Place parking lot and the old buildings into the new Eau Claire Arena. So remember that next time you go to the polls and vote.
Yeah.
Remember who saved you the money.
Yeah.
Okay, Fred, what do you got there?
Well, I see Linda Voles, and this is in the Sunday Visitor of June 11th, is what really underlies the China scandal. And she says on July 9th, 1995, after a long debate.
And by the way, new show's on the way. New show's on the way. I just had to take a couple of months off.
Okay, and this,
Yeah.
speaking of China, Fred,
Maybe sometime this month.
did you know that the average bank teller loses about $250 every year?
He does?
Well, I don't know where they lose it. I don't know if they get fired or not, but it's a good thing they aren't in China. Okay, go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Oh, I just get chills up and down my spine every time I hear you say that.
Say what? Oh, you're on the air?
But I guess you probably are used to women reacting that way. You know, a big celebrity and all. There are just a couple of things I'd like to say tonight. One is to kind of chew you out a little bit because you started a couple of minutes early, and I missed, I don't know, a few seconds of the show, I guess. Less than 18 seconds, but I missed a few. And your shows are so good that I hate to miss any of it. So I wish you wouldn't have started a little bit earlier, like you did tonight. And the other comment I want to make is that you guys just get better and better. Your parking lot gimmick is terrific. I love it.
Now, if you'd like to drive up down there, we have a drive-up interview. We're trying to figure out a way where Common can get in front of the car so that the people can drive right up to where he's sitting there.
They might hit him.
And then he'll be in front of the car where the camera can see both him and the driver of the car.
You could just have people down there giving out autographs. Which reminds me, you know, like I say, your last few shows have been so incredibly good and funny. And I wish you could submit some of these tapes to some sort of a film festival type of deal. I don't really know what sort of festival there might be, but there must be something for semi-professional TV shows that just need a little bit of boost to show the people.
It's kind of like our semi-professional boxing match down there now. Tonight we're going to have George Chavallo and Tiny Mills. For those of you who remember the wrestler Tiny Mills, he ended up being a sheriff over in one of the counties in Minnesota.
Dating?
But he was on, if you remember when he used to be on the wrestling shows that came out of the cities back in the 50s and 60s.
You say he was dating a sheriff?
No, I said he ended up being a sheriff.
Oh.
After he retired from professional wrestling, and then he went up into north of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and became a sheriff of one of the counties up there. And now he's came out of retirement for this big bout tonight against George Chavallo. And of course, George Chavallo boxed Muhammad Ali back in the early 70s or late 60s, somewhere in that area. So it's going to be a big bout tonight, and of course, Common is going to be the ring announcer, and he's also doubling as the referee.
Not hardly.
Plus, to top that all off, he's down there in the streets directing traffic and doing interviews, so he's got his hands full tonight.
You guys got a good show going.
Well, thank you very much.
That's actually all I wanted to say. I just wanted to say hello to you again.
All right.
The last few times I didn't call because I was just enjoying every minute and I didn't want to break in. I just wanted to watch and listen.
Well, you want to say anything to Freddie boy over here?
Hi there.
Oh, I think Fred's a honey. But I don't dare say anything more because I imagine his wife is watching.
Yeah.
But I think he's a honey.
Yeah, she's probably on the phone right now calling up.
And I think that Common Man down in the parking lot is funny. And sometimes maybe you could bring back Norb, whoever he was. He was great, too.
Norbert from NASA?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully if he's watching the show, he'll get up here. He only lives about 3 blocks away from the new downtown arena.
He was really in outer space.
So Norbert, get down here and tell us the latest news from Mars and NASA. We need to have an update on that.
Yeah.
Well, I won't take up any more of your time because I'm not that funny, and I would just hear some more funny things.
All right, well, we
now.
appreciate your calling in, and thanks a lot.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
Okay there, Common. Now, did you have those people down there to interview, or what?
No, they decided to leave. I don't think they wanted to be on. I don't think they wanted to talk on the TV.
Well, next time have them drive around in front of where you're sitting there and then you come around and to the front of them so that you can be with the camera, and that way we can get a picture of you and the person that you're interviewing.
Well, that was it. That was it. I wanted to find out if they wanted to talk on the TV or not, but they didn't want to do that. So I was, that pretty much screwed that deal up.
That's why we got the no parking sign right down there. It's for people to pull right in there, and the VIP parking there for the, and of course, you know, we'll have the dignitaries coming in later on, the movie stars, for the big match tonight. But in the meantime, we got Common down there directing traffic. And how's the parking lot looking down there?
That reminds me. You was talking about that. You was talking about that former wrestler, the sheriff. I remember I kind of think of when there used to be that was a sheriff or something. Used to call him the Big Boss Man. I wonder if that's the same guy.
No, this is Tiny Mills. He had long.
Well, these guys, they change their names. You know, they don't always use their real names half the time.
Tiny Mills, about 6'8". He had long black hair. He probably, I think he was part Indian. He was on.
Now that would be a different guy.
He was in professional wrestling back when Vern Gagne and all those people were popular, and when wrestling was coming mostly out of the Minneapolis-St. Paul area.
Well, this guy is a little shorter. This guy's a little shorter, kind of fat.
Go ahead, caller, you're on the air.
So it can't be the same guy.
How's it going?
Fine. How are you tonight?
I'm really good. I really love your show. I think it's really great. As far as PAC shows, this has got to be one of the best.
You got any questions for the common man on the street there?
Yeah, I do actually. I seen him the other day on the PAC channel talking to the city council about the snake issue. And I'd like him to comment again, just to the viewing audience who didn't happen to hear, just what you think about snakes.
Very simple. I don't like them.
You don't like snakes?
Absolutely not, especially after you almost run over one with your bicycle on the way to the old Eau Claire racetrack.
Well,
It wasn't but a darn old grass snake, but who in the heck knows where it is? Then not long after, the thing goes out, it crawls out in the road and gets run over by a truck. And another car comes up behind it and almost runs into it. I think, they're going to, like I said, they're making a big deal about this thing about this. It's funny too, because that dumb council, they haven't even made a decision on it yet, and I don't even know if they're even going to make a decision on it or not.
Well, how big of a decision is it to begin with?
Well, shoot, I don't know. They seem to think it's a matter of freedom this, freedom that, and freedom to own this and own that. But I say it's a matter of public safety. The heck with the freedom. You talk about we got freedom of choice of abortions, and that's wrong.
Well, how are we gonna have all the manpower? We're talking about garbage cops. Now we're going to have snake handlers on the street corners for snakes that want to cross the street. Going to have to hire 3 or 4 snake handlers for the snake crossings.
I really don't think snakes are that big of a problem myself.
They will be unless they put the clamps down on them.
Okay, I have another question for you. Randy, what town do you live in? Do you live in Eau Claire, Altoona, Fall Creek, Augusta, where?
Altoona by about 3 blocks.
You live in Altoona, so you're talking to the Eau Claire City Council about but that's not even an Altoona issue?
Well, actually, yeah, but you see, I live in Altoona, but I rent the place I live in, and the guy that owns it lives in Eau Claire.
Okay. Another question. So how come Eau Claire has all these street troubles, but Altoona doesn't seem to have any of these street troubles? Because I've driven through Altoona, and they don't have all these potholes all over the place and everything like Eau Claire does. Why do you think that
There's a few here and there, but they got a smaller budget to work with, so they can only just patch holes mostly.
Should Eau Claire fire all the Eau Claire staff and hire all the Altoona street staff?
I don't know. I have no idea on that one. But...
Hey, Chuck, you really need an announcer for your show, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see.
Can I give it a whirl?
Yeah. We'll
all right. Live from Banbury Place, here's Chuck Lee and Fred the Truth Stafford as his sidekick. But live on CityCam, here's Common Man Randy B. Minister.
All right. Well,
sounds like an audition there.
Okay, there, Common. Well, since you're way into the snake issue, no one's been able to answer the question yet. If they license snakes, how are you going to put a collar on a snake when they don't have any shoulders?
That's what I said. The only thing is to have the ordinance. You have to have the ordinance.
All right. Well, Fred, before we get into that, speaking of snakes, Saudi Arabian women can get a divorce if her husband doesn't give her coffee in the morning. You know that?
What?
In Saudi Arabia, a woman can get a divorce if her husband doesn't give her coffee.
If she doesn't give her husband coffee?
No, if her husband doesn't give her coffee, she can get a divorce.
Yeah?
That's legal over there.
Well, that's too bad.
And then also, you can only smell 1/20th as well as a dog. So there you have it, Common. Now, a snake can smell better than a dog, and yet we make dogs have licenses, and when they run around town, they got to wear a license and a collar and everything. Why don't snakes have to?
I couldn't tell you on that one. I got to tell you something, though. I'll tell you something. I'll tell you, I'm not exactly a big fan of dogs either. I've been bit twice, so I know how that feels. Fortunately, they were not rabid. Otherwise, I'd be dead by now, obviously.
So when you ran,
the thing of it is, I remember my mother a long time ago, saying that really, when it comes right down to it, a dog should only be a farm animal.
so when you ran over the snake, did you do the right?
I didn't run over it. I raised my legs up on the bicycle and just missed it. Kept going, but I would just as it was. If I hadn't done that, it probably could have bit me. And even a grass snake can cause some kind of a problem.
How old were you when that all happened?
Oh boy, let's see. It was somewhere in the middle 70s, so I'd be at least 20 years younger than I am now.
Huh.
And I just had my 45th here on the 27th of May. So.
Okay, Fred. Well, what do you got there for us there now?
Well, here's another article in The Wanderer of
Not too bad.
June 11th.
You want to be
It's
interviewed
a powerful
or
new book reveals how to become the honor of
because he wants Clinton
kind of
peace.
father God wants
You
you
want to
to
know
be.
the truth, so do I.
Why?
What the heck are you doing in there, Roy? Roy's flipping out in there with
He's a crook.
the equipment. Okay, Fred. Did you know that?
I think I think we got the worst of the bunch of them all.
Did you know when snakes are born with two heads, they fight each other over food?
Yeah,
And that's another reason why we shouldn't be licensing snakes,
right.
because then you're going to have to buy 2 permits.
Is this where public access is?
Okay,
There's a phone call.
there is.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, sir. I'm from Texas,
All right.
by my accent.
Yeah, you kind of sound like you're from the South.
Yes, sir. The thing about you have to worry about snakes is down in Texas,
I just live down here.
and I just got transferred up to Wisconsin. I was just wondering if you guys ever have cow chip bingo up here.
No, I don't think we ever have tried that. Well, what's that entail?
Concept? Well, what you do is get a corral with one cow.
To show us in the house.
Maybe,
Because I
depends how many squares you want.
not a lot, but
And you get, say, maybe 100 squares, and
then when I saw
that cow sits there, and everybody sits there, and
that's outside of Banbury.
No, way back in the old days.
when the cow
I
does
snuck
the
at the
thing.
tail end.
Oh, did ya?
That was back.
Yeah.
That was
Hey,
back
comment.
at the library.
the cow chip bingo.
Hey, Common there. Hold up a minute here. We got somebody on the phone.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't have 2 shows going here at once. Okay, go ahead, caller.
And the cow chip bingo is, the thing is this, is like you get a lot of people there that, drink beer or whatever, or play golf. And they put the money on that number. They 1 through 100.
Uh-huh.
So when the cow does its business, that whoever it lands on the cow chip, they win the money. That's cow chip bingo
Huh.
down in Texas. And it's really a good thrill because everybody feeds the cow, and then next thing you know, somebody wins a lot of money.
Sounds like it.
I seen your show here. It says Cow Phone and Cow Report, and I just kind of stopped here. I was watching some other movies. I said, you guys are pretty interesting.
Yeah. What part of Texas you from?
South Padre Island, Texas. I'm a surfer.
South Padre Island?
Yes, sir.
Sounds like a good place to be from. You ever get any hurricanes down that way?
Went through 3 of them. The biggest one was Hurricane Beulah back in 1967.
They must have heard me talk.
I was 12 years old and went through the eye of the hurricane.
Huh. Was that a pretty disastrous one?
Yeah, we had a flood that came through. Some farmer there, he didn't want to get his land flooded, and so he had dynamite and he blew up the dike.
Huh.
And the flood came through our town, through Harlingen. It's called the Arroyo Colorado,
Uh-huh.
and the river came up like 100 feet.
Wow.
We were just kids, but we saw snakes. That's where you see snakes.
Well, don't tell Common. He'll probably jump up on that thing he's sitting on there and start screaming like a little girl.
Who? Who's Tommy?
Common. He doesn't like snakes.
Who's Tommy? I watch the screen. I turn the TV on mute.
Right there, Common.
Oh my God.
Hey, Common, who you got down there?
Oh, I got a fellow just rode up alongside of me here. He doesn't want to be interviewed, but we were just talking a little bit.
I have a joke for you. It's a small joke.
All right.
What did little fish say when she hit the concrete wall?
I don't know. What?
You're gonna have to tell me the answer to that one.
Damn.
Bam?
And I can imagine that.
Huh.
Only women like that joke.
That's probably what it was he run into, I suppose.
Exactly. Well, you gotta take it easy.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in. You have a
I
nice
know.
Remember cow chip bingo.
day. All right. Now, Common, what's going on down there?
I do have a guy down here, but like I said, he doesn't want to talk on the TV.
What's he? He's riding a bike down there. I don't know what Roy keeps doing over there, but he's got everything confusing here. We're going to have to get some technical supervision in there, and
Well, we having malfunctions, or
yeah, Roy likes to play with the equipment up here, and he's got
you
everything.
tell him to cut that off.
He's got everything dorked around there. Okay, Fred, what do you got there?
Well, I started to tell you about this book, how to become the kind of father God wants you to be. Today's fathers are living in one of the most difficult periods in history. Being a father is needy. By reading the Christian Fatherhood, any father can learn what it takes to be the best dad and husband he can be. This book is the owner's manual for fatherhood today. It's written by Steve Wood.
Huh. Okay. You know, Fred, that cows give more milk when they're listening to music?
Yeah?
And speaking about music, Beethoven, before he would sit down to write his famous works, he would take a pitcher of ice water and pour it over his head
And stuff like that.
so that he would think clearly. Okay, Common, what's going on down there on the street? Our man on the street, Randy, the common man, the
I
minister.
moved away.
What's going on down there?
Well, right now, nothing. The fellow on the bicycle just left.
Okay, is the parking lot filling up yet?
Yeah. So, not nobody here but me.
Well, have you sold any tickets yet for the big match?
Not hardly.
Well, you're supposed to be selling tickets down there too.
What tickets? I don't even have any.
Well, just give them a.
And what's this? You got some kind of a thing about snakes yourself, Chuck?
Snakes.
You sound like you're defending. You sound like you're defending that this right to keep them or whatever. I don't. You know, that's a load of baloney in my book.
There, I don't know what Roy's doing now, but he's trying to get something going there. Okay, well, Freddie boy,
Yeah.
you know, if brains were taxed, you'd get a rebate.
Yes.
That's what they said about that one girl you dated back in the 50s.
Yeah, I didn't date any.
You didn't? Oh, what day did you get married anyway?
48.
All right, there. Okay, well, Roy says there's another call coming in on the cow phone, and that number again, I forgot. What is the phone number here, Fred? 839-6261? Go ahead, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, what's up?
Not much.
I have a comment on snakes. I think they're pretty cool. I got a python.
You do?
Yeah.
Has it ever gotten loose?
No, it's awesome though. You get to watch it eat rats and shit.
How long is it?
Tell that guy to watch his language.
10 feet.
10 foot long?
Yeah.
How long you think it would take to eat common?
Probably about a week.
Well, I hear if they can get their mouth around the head, they pretty much can do you in.
Yeah, but he's kind of small.
Oh,
He
yeah.
can't kill any person yet.
You think you could get it down here in the next couple of minutes, next 10 minutes, and get it down there in the parking lot?
Probably not.
We'll start feeding Common's feet into it there. And then next week we can film what it's doing. If it takes a week to eat him, then that'll give us a week. We can kind of we can kind of tape the footage there, segments, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, and then Monday of next week we can interview Common again and see how he's doing.
If he brings that thing down here, I'm out of here.
Hey, we gotta go bring a snake down there, dude. We can fit in the trunk.
All right, well, thanks a lot for calling in there. Okay, Freddie boy, well, you know, if it ain't one thing, it's another out there, Fred, and there's a lot going on out there in the big old world, and of course, we solved one problem when we got voted down that $56 million arena downtown, and we moved it up here to Banbury Place, and we killed several birds with one stone, Fred. This conglomerate of buildings here was sitting pretty much empty, and we got our thinking caps on one night, and we said, hey, why not make the arena down here at Banbury Place instead? And so we've saved the city big money. You know, they didn't even have enough gratitude to say thanks.
No.
That's how they are down there at City Hall. They can't even say thanks. Well, Common, what do you got to say for yourself down there? We only got a few minutes left. We got to take another phone call.
Well, whatever. I'm told your friend Norb is on the way.
He is. Well, as soon as he gets there, we'll interview him and see what's happening on Mars and up there at the cosmonauts space shuttle up there. And
that reminds me. I noticed that guy who called in about the snakes used a cuss word. It gives you an idea. That gives you an idea about what the type of people own them darn things.
Well, I'll tell you, this is live TV, just like back when Milton Berle was doing it in the 50s, and we just go on from there, and we can always edit it out later. Go ahead, caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, hello, Chuck. I'm enjoying the show tonight. You and Randy make a great team.
Well, thank you. And there's a shot of the parking lot as it's filling up for the big match tonight. George Chuvalo versus Tiny Mills, and for those older people should remember, one was a famous boxer and the other one a famous wrestler. And of course, tickets are only $19.95, and you can get them from Common right down there. He's not only is he.
I haven't got any tickets for anything.
Well, just take an ink pen and write $19.95 on one of those rocks there and give it to that.
Chuck, that's as bad as you telling everybody that Fred gives tours around that place. Come on.
Okay, so caller, what's up tonight?
Well, I got a question for the Common Man.
Yeah.
Common Man, what do you think about that move that Rusty Wallace put on that young Gordon kid Saturday night?
I thought that was dirty.
Yeah, that was all right. I'm a Rusty Wallace fan, and he's going to be the champion this year, isn't he?
I'm nothing against Rusty, but I don't like what he did to Gordon. I don't go for that. I don't care who it is. I was almost mad enough to knock a couple of guys out when I raced, but I didn't do it. Felt like it, but I didn't do it.
Are you a Gordon fan?
Well, he's not my favorite guy, but he's in my top 10.
I think he's.
You bet.
He used to like Gordon Lightfoot. I don't know who is your favorite star now, since Gordon Lightfoot's not in the limelight anymore.
Wait a minute. Now you're talking about singers, or talking about race drivers?
We're talking about singers.
Now I couldn't tell you on that one. As far as race drivers, the number one guy is Elliott.
Okay, Freddie boy, did you know that an inventor in Zhang, China, has come up with a new method of birth control for men?
Another call.
Well, we can't read the rest of that on the air. Well, we only got enough time to take one more call. Go ahead, caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Chuck, how you doing?
All right.
Long-time fan here. I got a comment for the Common guy.
Yeah?
I think you're a wussy.
He's a what?
He's a wuss.
Well, I'll tell you, he's afraid.
Right back at you.
Yeah?
He's afraid of snakes.
Hey, I know where you're at.
Right back at you.
Hey, I know where you're at.
If anyone's got a sack of snakes, bring them down here, Fred.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Common will pet each and every one of them.
I'll probably go on by that anyway.
For a nickel apiece, he'll pet each and every snake you bring down.
Okay, you filthy rubberneck.
All right, well, thanks a lot there. And, I was going to read that one thing, Fred, but I can't there. But since Norbert didn't make it in time, I have one little thing here on NASA. Fear of widespread public panic has caused NASA to order astronomers to observe a 72-hour news blackout of any reports of incoming asteroids.
I'm coming. Yeah.
So hopefully that will even give us, unfortunately, that will even give us less time to get ready for an asteroid that hits the Earth.
I told me you were
All right there, Common. Well, it's almost that time again. Common, what do you got to say for yourself? You got about 10 seconds.
You
got a bright light there.
Yeah.
Is that
We
Norbert?
could be seen this time, I guess.
Is that Norbert?
You got a good shadow there.
Comment.
Yeah.
Is that Norbert?
Yep.
Norbert, what's happening on Mars? You only got 10 seconds.
I didn't
Yeah.
have my sunglasses on.
Hurry up.
Take the mic.
Hello, Chuck.
Norbert, what's happening on Mars tonight?
Okay, we got the mic.
Norbert.
Oh, is there something else?
Come on.
I'll tell you, this live TV, if it ain't one thing, it's another. Now you got Common down
all I do is get a
there,
beep
Common,
on
and then Norbert from NASA fighting it out down there.
You got the thing in the pocket there.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys got to get it together down there. All right, hello? Well, thanks a lot for tuning in tonight, and I've been
Is that
your
when you're
host,
not talking?
Chuck Lee, and with me has been my rusty, trusty sidekick, Fred the Truth Stratford. And down on the street, we got Norbert and the Common Man. And Norbert, what do you got to say for Mars there? Anything? All right, well, thanks a lot for tuning in, and
Why you get cut
we'll
off?
see you again 2 weeks from tonight, and we might be just a few minutes late coming
you got
on.
cut
There's
off
an
here.
Altoona City
Chris,
Council
just walking
meeting, and then we're scheduled to go
Hello.
right after that. Norbert?
Steady beep now.
Norbert, what happened on Mars tonight?
You all done though, right?
Well, I guess nothing happened there.
Yeah, they didn't do much anything.
All right, well, thanks a lot, and we'll see you again next time right here on the Old Cow Report. Adios, amigos and amiguettes.
On?